Hi guys, so just thought I'd do another Wednesday waffle. I was just going to do a little bit on the biggest gaps in blading. If you don't know about blading, then you should know. So first up, we got Tom Bambrick, Accidental Machines. This isn't complete compilation or anything. These are just ones that I recall. This is huge. Look at that. If you want to count the stairs, you can. But basically, this is Tom Bambrick. He was definitely one of the best gap skaters. Used to skate all kind of gaps. This is one of the biggest ones ever done. Yeah, insane. Don't know how he even stayed on his feet there. Yeah, the rest of the section's good as well, as you can see. Then we got Eric Perquette. He's another good one. He does a lot of good 180s, but he's also got those 5s on lock. Just look at that. Whew. That is hard. So all these little guys, like, he's not big physically, doesn't weigh a lot. I think the variables in gaps is you generally don't want to be too big. I'm quite a big bloke. If I jump a set of stairs, it's harder for me to stay on my feet than a smaller guy. But generally speaking, like, a lot of the smaller guys are best at gaps. Eric Perquette, I think, maybe has the record for the biggest, but let's look at Julian Barr from Masters of Delusion. There's another big one. Oh, over a car. And this one I like. Look, bang, bang. So he hits like one, and then straight into Royale on the down rail. Now that is one of those where it's a lot harder than it looks. Not that it doesn't look hard anyway, but the coolest thing is that's a neat little gap on its own. But then he recovers so well to get like the Royale in after, which is in itself really difficult. On a drop rail like that, but the shock waves that go through your body on that gap, the fact that he was able to kind of just get straight back up. He was wearing physics. This is actually Master Delusion, which was a video promoting suspension frames. But to be honest, most of the guys who skate, there's some more big ones from Julian Barr here as well. Boing! Wow, that was another. Yeah, so some of that might have been partly due to suspension frames, but to be honest, like, generally speaking, you die on gaps like that. Here's some more, some 5s. He does 5 switch, natural way, then does it switch. Another massive obstacle, gapping into grinds. This section's off the hook, but we won't digress. We won't go off on tangents. This one, Dre Powell, first try or die, straight up. This is big. Look at that. Oh. The grind is like pretty easy for him, I'm sure, but as you say, he sits down and he says, "Fuck that, man." Yeah, it's this one is like you know, Dre Powell's a little bit underrated for gaps because he could do some bloody big gaps. I'm telling you, he had some gaps down. This is huge. In fact, it's so big, I don't know how he really landed it, but I think the fact that it's a ramp he lands on, that actually helps a little bit to take the shock out of it, but it's just a massive thing. it's all of these gaps, unfortunately, you can't really convey the actual difficulty in doing them, because I blade and I kind of have a good sense of it. I'm not saying I've done anything as big as this, but I have done gaps that you couldn't do if you're not a blader. And when you're doing them, you just get a full appreciation of how difficult they are. Even a gap like half these height would still throw so much force through your body that you kind of usually go down. I find gaps, personally, I quite like doing gaps. I don't land everything. I certainly was better at them when I was skating before. Yeah, when I skated a lot more often when I was a bit younger. And the thing is with gaps though is that you can, if you make a mistake, as long as you get your skates underneath you, you hit the ground, you're going to go over, but you just go back. You know, chances are you're not going to hit your head too much. You probably absorb most of it on your back, and then you just get up and repeat until you can land it. Now, what I think on landing something, number one, you have to be chilled in the air. You have to be calm, because when I biggest gap I ever did was like about a 15 stair, something like that. Took me like 8 or 9 goes, and I actually landed it. The last try I actually did land it in the end, but on that one I remember what was holding me back was I was tensing up too much in the air. Like while I was in the air I wasn't comfortable, I was frightened, which is human nature. But you've got to try and battle that, and if you're calm and you're thinking, because you think better when you're calm, just get all your weight behind it and boom, and you go down into a little crouch and pop back up. Easy for me to say, you know, I'm not saying I'm like these guys, but there's something I should convey about gaps in skating, probably in any extreme sport. You know, same goes for snowboarding, skateboarding, whatever you happen to do. The gaps are always harder than they look. Trust me. Like the force that goes through your feet when you hit the floor on a tightened gap like that is just like hard to describe. You usually fall over. The fact that a lot of these were landed, you know, of course we're talking professional skaters here. So, see that one from Joe Powell, he actually goes, first try or die, which is pretty accurate. We're looking at here. This is Walt Austin, also from Master Delusion. Atlanta, that used to have, like, you know, I'm a British skater and that, but I love watching the Americans. The Americans are the best at blading. Well, they're certainly up there anyway. We do have good British riders as well. See this one. Ooh. Yeah, she picked up some air miles on that one. That was like... It's so insane. He hangs in the air for like... there we go. Wait a minute. There it is. Yeah. He's literally in the air for like 2.5 seconds. That's really hard to do. There's quite a few gaps. See, they're trying to sell the physics frames, which were suspension frames, but I don't think they make the massive difference really on those huge gaps. You just got to be good at them. Well, Austin was one of the best at gaps. Like Julio Barrett Paquette, he's quite a small guy, doesn't weigh much. I'm not taking away, you know, a gap's a gap, but yeah, I think it does help on the biggest ones when you're not a big bloke. Yeah, it helps a lot. You've got less force going towards the ground when you land. But that's the other thing with gaps. You can actually, I find that once you go a bit faster, the faster you go can help you. But then there's like more fear when you're going quicker, because if you're going quicker, there's more chance of you not getting your feet underneath you or being thrown back violently where you hit your head. And not many rollerbladers die doing this shit, but one of the ones who nearly died actually went into a coma. Cameron Card. He was gapping off a rail, like kind of like similar to the rail gap you saw there with Walt Osting doing top horn star grind. This is Jeff Howard. This one's massive, man. It's another one where the cameras don't really do it justice. You'd have to be there and look down it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so huge. And he says that's the biggest gap I've ever done, man. Pumped, baby. Yep. Yeah, so I guess I've had a little chat about gaps. And gaps in blading are cool. Like, honestly, they're the funnest thing to watch. Like, they're the kind of, you get all the hammers from them. You know, I've seen like the London Leap of Faith attempts. I won't show you right now, but those are insane. Gaps are fun, man. You know, I like to skate gaps because I always find grinding, like in my experience, I've done so many tricks where I'm grinding where I just put one foot wrong and you go into the ground like that. But gaps, I always feel like you don't have to land them first try. In that case, the pros, a little different. You probably would want to land them first try. That 5 that Eric Paquette does in Ego, down the double or triple set, big gap, whatever it is. That one where you're spinning the 5, if you were to go straight over there, that would hurt a lot. He'd have been doing traveling about 50 miles an hour down there, I'd say. And that's why they use the sketch on the cars. They're actually going like doing 50 miles an hour or more. But yeah, they're great to watch gaps, and you know, I just talk a little bit about them using my knowledge of the sport. So cheers guys, and see you later.